Hey, so you know who it is. Um, we're gonna do things a little different tonight. We're gonna talk about Confessions of a Marriage Counselor. Yes, this movie has been out for a while. I know a lot of people have seen it, have talked about it, and their ideas, perspectives, point of views on the whole entire movie. But I really dug deep into this movie and really started thinking outside the box. You know, as far as Bryce and Judith is concerned, they had been together since they were kids. They grew up together. They went to school together. They were high school sweethearts. They grew up together. Judith knew nobody but Bryce. And Bryce the same. Probably the only person, well, it is taken. She did say it, that he's the only person that she's ever been with. So they ended up getting married and starting a life together, right? Going to their jobs, getting careers, working on getting a career. One wanted to be a pharmaceutical tech, and the other one wanted to be a marriage counselor. And so I just started thinking about some stuff, and it really shedded light on the whole entire message that's wrapped around this movie. Knowing that Judith and Bryce have not seen anybody outside of their whole entire relationship. So like from the time that they were kids, elementary, middle school, high school, till they are adults, they've only been with each other, going to church with each other, you know, all of these things. I wonder if Bryce ever thought, now no, he would not act on the actual action, but ever thought about what life would have been had he would have not met Judith. And I asked the same question about Judith, but the movie focuses on Judith's experience. She's telling this couple in marriage counseling that she's counseling. She's in a session with them, and she's making it seem like she's talking about her sister when really she's talking about herself. Really does not focus on Bryce and where he came from. It tells us a little bit, but not a lot. It's mainly focusing on Judith and her perspective and what is going on and what happened. And so just thinking about Judith, somebody that's been with one person their entire life and gets introduced to Harley, which is a very successful man that owns his own business, companies, whatever. And he's looking to take his company global and expand. Right? Everybody's dream to expand their business. So they start off small, they work their way up, mediocre, now they're big bang boom, right? Do you ever ask yourself, what was Harley thinking when he ran into Judith? Was he thinking, oh, I can take this woman? Or did he really care about Judith? Because it just sends so many questions in my mind as to what was going on inside of Harley's head at the time of the movie starting, right? So you think about Judith being with one person, and she's fine, she's happily married. She tells Bryce, you know, I think I should be, you know, starting my practice and be a marriage counselor, and she's got big dreams. And I'm going to tell you, there's nothing wrong with having big dreams and goals. She's a certain age. She thought she would be, right here, further past in her career, doing some things, have her own practice, and stuff. And Bryce tells her that, well, in 2 or 3 years, well, 3 or 4 years, whichever one is between 2 and 4 years, that they'll be more established to be able to do all of that. And she was expecting something else to come out of her husband's mouth that's more encouraging, because she already felt down about the fact that she was not where she wanted to be in life. She wanted to do more. She wanted to be successful and work towards that success. And to have your husband come back and say, well, in this amount of time, maybe, it's not guaranteed, but maybe we'll be more stable enough for that to happen. Bryce did not understand. He didn't understand the words that he said, how it affected Judith in the way that it did. Because she even said, wow, thank you, babe. That's very encouraging. Like being sarcastic, right? Not, oh my gosh, thank you. Like, that's so encouraging. That it's a different tone. Of course, she didn't want to devalue her husband's, attempt to be encouraging, because he was trying to be encouraged. He was like, there's a positive side to this. Don't give up. But she didn't take it like that. And so, meeting Harley, and he's $1 million, rich, successful, has his own business, looking for a technology that can match people up based off their abilities and their hobbies and the occupations and all of that stuff. And so I just questioned, what was Harley thinking before he tried to actually, I guess I would say, come at Judith in a way that was seductive, because he could have chosen any other woman in that establishment to hit on. As a matter of fact, the head lady of the company was trying to hit on him, and he did not bite, but he picked Judith. Judith over and over again, numerous of times, told her she's happily married. She's happily married. I'm also very married. This, that, and the third. She made it known. But it never crossed Harley's mind, hey, she's sending me a signal to back off. She's fine with her husband. And in the back of Judith's mind, after Bryce started talking to her about just everything, and she said that she didn't believe in sex before marriage, kind of sparked up a high conversation for her, because she was like, I don't believe in that. Because she was raised in the church, of course. So he's like, you're telling me that your husband is the only person you have ever been with? And she was like, yes. Like, she didn't see anything wrong with that. But somebody that's been promiscuous, or somebody that's had multiple partners and is very in tune with their sexuality, I guess, if you could say the most appropriate way to say that, because I could have said it very, very rude, but God's working on me. I'm changing. He was very shocked. And he, in so many words, he called her basic and plain, as if being with one person is wrong, or there's something that's bad about that. And it's not. There's nothing bad about that. It's safe. It's security. It's true love. And you know that Bryce would never ever step out on Judith. He only had eyes for Judith, and he only wanted the best for them. He trusted Judith. Didn't check her phone. Didn't care if she was talking to somebody outside on the phone 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. He trusted that girl. And she trusted him. They were open. They were honest about everything until Harley came in the picture and was persistent about getting to Judith. I remember this person said on YouTube, if you want to know if a woman really cares about you, talking about the men, close your wallets. And for the ladies, if you want to know if a man really cares about you and wants to get to know you and wants to be with you and is in tune with you, close your legs. Because the moment that a man or woman sees something outside of your personality, your traits, the inner you, and what you bring to the table besides money, cars, clothes, a good job, a good career, you're going somewhere, but really the true inner you. Are you charismatic? Are you humorous? Are you positive? Are you respectful? Are you dedicated? Are you loving? Are you caring? Are you nurturing? Are you understanding? Are you loyal? Are you faithful? Are you honest? Are you trustworthy? Those things. If you close off their temple, the temple, ladies, then that will let you know. If you deny a man access to your body and he makes some excuse to leave or gets upset, or y'all have been doing things but not right there, and he thinks it's time to take it to the next level because he done wined and dined and did all that stuff for you, and you deny him access and he disappears, or when you're in help or you're in need or just need somebody to talk to and they're not there, trust people's actions over their words, because we can easily say that's just like somebody telling you I love you, but they show you that they don't want to be around you. All I can say is don't let somebody tell you they don't care or love you twice. Don't let them. Because the first time that they do that and they say that, they mean it. Nobody's going to say something or do something that they don't mean or that they don't want to do. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Okay, so back to the movie. But yes, so the fact that Harley just made it seem like Judith was so boring and Bryce was so boring, but they had such a dedicated, loyal, and faithful marriage, and that you could tell they loved each other dearly. I mean, I don't understand why he decided to keep on, pressing the issue. Then on top of that, once they go to New Orleans to talk about business and stuff like that, Bryce, again, trusted her to go. Your wife is going with another man to an outer state by herself with him, with nobody else but them two, and you trust her enough to go there, do what she's going to do, and come back. Just come home safe, babe. I could just imagine that's exactly what Bryce said. Just come home, babe. Just be safe out there and be careful. And if you need anything, call me. Like, that's it. He didn't say I need a tracking device. I need you to call me 15 minutes every time in intervals, and I'm going to go down there with you because I don't know. Like, no. But Harley took advantage of the thing. He manipulated the whole entire situation. Judith had never had a drink. She never smoked. She never did anything. She was so, I'd say, holy, because her mom raised her in a church, and she did not play that. She wanted what was best for her daughter. Harley opened up a world of just something that Judith had never experienced. She had only been in this box, but with Bryce. Her life was good. They were really working towards some things. But for Harley to step in and basically like turned Judith's life upside down. First of all, when they got on the plane, I just thought that was just kind of just messed up what he did. Now she's telling him, I'm very married. But you know what? Judith was liking the comments, but the compliments, not the comments, the compliments. She had never received any of that stuff, so she didn't even know how to handle it. She's trying to fight temptation. She knows she's married. She knows it's wrong. It's against God's word. She's fighting her religion and temptation, so she's battling between the enemy and her religion. The enemy and Christ. The enemy and Christ. What am I supposed to do? I'm not supposed to do this, that, and the third. I know I'm not supposed to do this. This is wrong. I remember in one scene, Harley was telling her all the different things that could possibly go within whatever, being spontaneous, adventurous, all this craziness, right? So she goes home and she's like attacking her husband because she knows that she can do stuff with her husband. She can't do anything with Harley. And she was like, we need to, how would this feel? Like, not Harley, Bryce totally shut her down. Like, we could fluff the pillows, we could turn the lamp off, and it's just so basic because that's the way they always did it. That's the way they knew how to do it. So spicing it up was not even nothing in the cabinet. There was no spices in the cabinet. So he was kind of scared because he was like, what's going on with my wife? Something's wrong. But I think Judith kind of liked that attention up until they went to New Orleans and they got back on the plane to head back to where they were going. And then that's when the heavy comments start coming from Harley. And he started telling her about how he loves hard and how his ex-girlfriend shot him down and stuff. Kind of sounds a little bit like a narcissist. I'm just going to throw that out there. I really don't know what kind of personality disorder he had, but he had something. But for him to share his story and say, this what happened, this what happened, this what happened, this what happened. And I love hard. And she shot me down. And so us women were like, oh my gosh, like, that's so wrong. Like, I hope you're okay. Like, And if somebody hasn't had that kind of experience outside of the person that they're with, and they're so basic and it's the same routine over and over again, I think that Judith probably would have had the best choice to sit down and talk to Bryce. But I think it probably would have scared Bryce. Bryce would have been like, where are you getting this from? You've never had a problem with this before, and we've been married for this extensive long time. I feel like if Judith would have sat down and talked to her husband and discussed this, instead of putting herself in the place and areas and surroundings to run into Harley, I don't think it would have went that far. But then again, I don't know, because when they went from New Orleans, got on the plane, this is Harley's private jet. They get on the plane and he's like, you can say you resisted. And she's like telling him to stop. So in this part, he's full on about to RAP her. And he pushed her past that limit because he already knew that she wanted him in a sense. But she knew it was wrong. She just wanted to see what it felt like, experience it. But she didn't want to do it. But then he pushed her over that edge. And you're doing something wrong and it's getting to you if you're in the act and you're crying. And it's not happy tears. It's like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I just did this to my husband. I cannot believe I'm doing this. Now I'm doing this. I can't go back. I can't, because it feels good, but it's wrong. And I don't know. There had to be 1,000+ things going on through Judith's head. All the while Bryce is at home or at work or whatever he's doing, waiting for his wife to come home. They get off the plane. He drives her home. She's like, you know what? I don't want to deal with this. I'm not dealing with this. Don't call me. Don't talk to me. Don't do this. Don't do that. And he's like, wait, what? I know she knew that she had already overstepped. I know she knew that it was wrong. But then the fact that she comes in the, Lord have mercy, she comes to the house, introduces Bryce to Harley and her mom, Reverend Sarah Ogilvie, and then, I don't even know if that's her last name, but whatever, and she kisses her husband, like her husband leans in to kiss her, and you don't know what you've been doing with that mouth, girlie. But I know it had to be, like, it probably would have been a little out of the ordinary to not kiss her husband when she saw them. If she would have pulled back and was like, oh, hey, because she kind of did pull back, I think it would have probably, like, sent a red flag or sent a light bulb to Harley, to Bryce. Be like, why is my wife not kissing me? Okay, something's wrong. But then she ends up going back. Like, it was just, it's kind of like the trauma bond stage. So you get the love bombing, you get the dependency and the trust. She trusted Harley. And then now she's getting the criticism a little bit. Probably not so much, probably skipped that part. And now she's getting to the addiction part. She's fiending for that rush that she got again. She's never had that rush before. She's never been with anybody. So that first experience to be with somebody outside of Bryce was a adrenaline rush for her. She didn't want it, no, but she did want it. So when she got it, she was like, I need to have more. And the fact that he even asked her, does he even make love to you the way I do? That was using what she told him against her. Because she had told Harley, hey, I have not been with anybody else besides my husband. So he ended up asking her, does he make love better than I do? Well, she doesn't know if anybody else makes love better than you do. The only person she's been with now is you and her husband. Not even her husband anymore. And I thank God that Bryce did not get intertwined with all of this as far as the sexual intercourse stuff going on, because that could have put him at risk too. It puts a lot of people in danger when you're one having this and doing that, and it's so much stuff. And then people catch stuff and it's not even their fault. But yeah, she went from sleeping with Harley to now doing drugs from Harley. She trusted him because he even asked her, do you trust me? She's like, yeah. And then now he's having her snort cocaine or coke or whatever the heck it was. Going out late, disrespecting her mom because she's on this drugs. Like, he took her in a whirlwind of hell. And her mom said it best. That boy is going to hurt you something bad. He gonna take you straight to hell. And that was the drugs that said that, because I believe that Judith would have never said that to her mom. Well, I will enjoy the ride. And her mom was like smack dab in the middle of her face. Like, where'd you get that smart mouth from? Because she's never seen her daughter like that. She knew something was wrong with her daughter. I just want to ask this question, because I'm not here to talk about the whole entire Confessions of a Marriage Counselor. What I'm here to just ask, have you ever really wondered why people step out on their relationships? Now get this. So, you're a husband and you have a wife, right? You stay at home, or you go to work and you do what you need to do. You take care of your family, provide, work your hardest. It's hard, but you do your damnedest, right? And your wife has a job, goes to work, stuff like that, right? But then you find yourself at home all the time by yourself at long periods of time, and your wife is just gone, saying she's working. Y'all have this feuding, thing going on. Why are you coming home so late? Are you okay? This and that. And third, the wife gets snappy. Things get heated. And then so y'all have your arguments, and your wife leaves and you stay. Okay? Now, in this heat of the moment, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so upset, blah, 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 whatever. Now, would you, or would he call one of his best friends or one of his women friends to come and see about him? Have that one night stand, and then turn around, and while that 1 hour or 45 minutes of pumping, sweating, and whatever the heck they're doing, you get that closeness that you want from your spouse, right? With this other person. Then come to turn around after the act is done, that person gets up and leave. What did you actually gain? What did you gain out of that? You actually didn't gain anything. You lost a lot. You lost a piece of your body, probably a piece of your mind. You're still in the same shit that you just ended up trying to avoid. And now if this person has some kind of spirits on them, some shit that they're battling, now you have that too. Because energy transfer is real. It is. Especially when you're intimate with somebody. It's very, very real. You're creating soul ties. And for people that don't know about soul ties, look up soul ties. This shit is real. So now all of a sudden you're wondering why you're angry and you're this and you're that, because whatever that person had on them is now on you. But then on top of that, you didn't gain anything. That whole 45 minutes to an hour, you enjoyed the act. It was great. But now that person is getting up and leaving, and you're stuck in the house by yourself with the same thoughts that you had and the same issues and the same shit that you're going through before they came. What were you solving? What were you gaining out of that? What were you trying to escape? You can't escape it now, because then the person's going to have to come back and do it all over again. That's what I don't understand about people that cheat on their spouses. Their spouses at home, or doing a job, or working, or really providing for the family, or going to school, or just really trying to better themselves, and they're out here just lollygagging with everybody. But the real scary part is they're lollygagging unprotectedly, to the point where if they decide to have intercourse with their spouse, they could risk whatever they've been lollygagging with, pass it on to their spouse, and then making them sick. STDs and STIs are real. They're nothing to play with. They're coming up with new diseases and new viruses every single day. Some are contagious, some can be treated and erased, some cannot. So they're not only taking a piece of you as far as your body is concerned and your mental, they can also give you something too. Yeah, you know what you gain. You gain a trip to the doctor. Or in other words, if somebody really wants to be serious, a baby that's not by your spouse. And now you can either choose to keep it in the dark and hide it from the whole entire world because this is your mistake. And now you don't even know how to tell everybody, hey, I stepped outside of my marriage and now I have a baby with this other woman that I only slept with once or twice, maybe 15 times unprotectively, and now she's carrying my baby. And I don't know how to tell my wife. I don't know how to tell my husband. I don't know how to tell my family. You put yourself at risk every single day because of a moment of passion. Instead of just sitting your ass down and talking to your spouse about what you do and do not like, and y'all working through your issues and communicating these issues and trying to work them out as a team. Marriage is a partnership. Partnership. On a ship, there's multiple people. Partner is two. Partnership. Commitment. Unity. If you wanted to be out here lollygagging and hoeing around, then why did you even get married in the first place? If you didn't know who you really were, that's why I did a podcast the last time. If you really didn't know who you really are and you don't know your identity and you're lost, then it's okay to be lost. God will help you find who you are, but don't bring nobody else in your mess. Work on you. Don't damage other people in the process and then blame them for your shortcomings. That's wrong. Now that you bring this person or these other people into your domain and you didn't even know who you really were, you're lost, you're confused about who you really are on the inside. Now you're transferring all that other stuff on them. When those people were fine. I don't understand that part. Literally men out here doing whatever. Let's just stop with the doing whatever. And then out there and then coming home to their wife and laying next to them, kissing them, touching them like they never did anything out there. They were at work all day, but really they were at the Motel 6 room 224. Like they come in and act completely innocent and to act insult to injury will lay right next to them after they just got through doing their work. I don't really understand that. But we already live in a world where there's hurt and pain and confusion. God said it was going to be storms and trials and tribulations and we can't run from it. And I think that forgiveness is the hardest thing to actually do because you're not forgiving a person for them, you're forgiving a person for you, so that way you can move on, so that you can heal, so that way you won't have this animosity or hatred towards what they did to you. You can stare them in the face and say, yeah, my husband cheated, yeah, my husband lied, yeah, my husband did this, that, and the third and broke our marriage, but I forgive him. Like, look him in the face and say this. Judith told Bryce she wanted a phenomenal guy. He wasn't phenomenal. Broke his character, demasculated him because she was 1 on drugs and probably 2 drunk, but whatever. And he would do anything for Judith. And she demasculated him. And he had never cheated on her. He never lied to her. He never did anything to her. Probably told her mom that she don't cook on Sundays or whatever, or they don't want to go to church on Sundays or whatever he said. But he didn't lie. He was just honest. We sleep in on Sundays. We're tired. But that comes into play where you want to look perfect in front of your mom. You're doing everything, every wifely duty, every husband duty. Y'all just doing everything as according to what the Bible says. Then Bryce missed her birthday. And that's 2 years in a row. she started not to feel appreciated and special to her husband. But that did not give her the right to go entertain it somewhere else. Because at some point, Judith did start entertaining it. Harley bought her flowers. She thought it was for her husband, but Harley bought her flowers. Harley took her out of town. Harley took her to clubs and really showed her different light because she never experienced that. But had she would have experienced that first and foremost before she found Bryce, she wouldn't even been like, no, you can get out of my face. We're not talking. Already been there, done that. That's not a good road. But he took advantage of Judith. And then when the abuse started happening with the beating up and the leaving her in the bathroom or bathtub, blistered, just bruised and beaten, then that's when she realized my husband is who I want to be with. I don't want this life. I want to get where I need to go the right way. This is not, my husband has never put his hands on me. Has never attacked my mom. Like, no. But then Bryce said he made it seem like it was okay that he loved his wife no matter what, but then at the end they didn't even stay together. And I think the reason why they didn't stay together is because they found out that she had HIV. They can't have kids. Bryce doesn't have HIV. She does. They can't have kids. Maybe if she got on the right medicine and stuff like that, and it's not detectable, but it takes some time. It takes the medicine to get regulated in your system for you to become undetectable. But that still also poses a risk. And I'm not saying that he doesn't still love Judith, because now he's her pharmacy person. But it's different things that could have played in that. Because we didn't see what happened after that. It's just, why would you even put your person at risk like that? Like, you're still sitting there with the same stuff that you're going through. For a moment of intimacy, affection, when that stuff can be given to you long term from somebody that won't cheat, that won't lie, that won't steal, that won't gaslight, manipulate you, that won't give you a random STD because they don't even know they have it, because they're not even incompetent enough to go and get checked up while they're out here being promiscuous. Like, it's that serious. Your life could change overnight and you don't even know it. And the crazy thing about AIDS and HIV is it lays dormant in your body. You don't even know that you have it until you have it. And so that's the scary part about that. And so I say this to say, if my spouse denies me intimacy, whatever the case may be, for his own reasons, not mine, for his own reasons, I will not, and I repeat, I will not go to anybody else. I will be fine not even going down that road. And I have been fine. Because it's not worth my health and somebody else taking a piece of me with them. And then me feeling shame and guilt. Now I got to go to my husband and say, hey, while we were da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, I had a moment of weakness and I stepped out on us. Everybody has a moment of weakness. Everybody gets vulnerable. Everybody wants that affection, that closeness, that attention, that love. But it's about self-control. Mind manipulation is a thing. And it is hard for somebody that's a master manipulator, because they can change your mind in the drop of a hat, get you thinking, especially if you're an empathic person. And you need a lot of self-discipline and a lot of self-control not to do that. Now, if you're lost and you don't know who you are, then it's probably going to be more easier for you to just do it and not care if it hurts anybody in along the run, because it feels good to you. And now you're making it define who you are. And that shouldn't be it. And I'm going to say another thing. Don't go out here and be marrying people if you're really not ready for marriage. Don't go out here promising all these other things, this, that, and the third, if you're really not ready to make that type of commitment. There's people out here that are doing that, and they're really not wanting to be in that stat. There's no manual on marriage. There's no manual on being a parent. There's no manual on being an executive CEO. There's no manual on all these things. It takes work. Hard work. And not every marriage and not every relationship is going to be perfect. So you might slip up. You might cheat. You might lie. You might manipulate. You might be doing things that just you haven't really healed from. It's just normal to you. And you don't realize the kind of hurt that it can cause somebody. Some people take it harder than other people. And some people just leave well enough alone. But when you sit down, if you do make a mistake, at least have the guts or the nerve or the whatever it's called, the maturity to sit the person down and tell them face to face. This is what, and after you tell them face to face, and you tell them nothing but the truth, don't even sugarcoat it, especially when it's something that serious, let them make that decision whether they want to stay or leave. Because we all have to suffer the consequences. There's consequences for our actions. And to not further hurt somebody, or they find out something just out of the blue, sit down and talk to them. I know women are more understanding than men. Some men are understanding. Some men are in tune with their feminine side or whatever. But I say this to say this. I say that to say this. Communicate. Even if it hurts. Even if it's hard. But you have to have a partner that's receptive. It can't be a one-sided street. You can't be telling this person you don't like this, you don't like that. They agree to that. They're like, I understand you don't like that. I won't do that again. And then turn around and do it behind your back the same day. They're only doing it because they know you're not going to catch them, because you trust them now. So if they don't get caught, they can still do it, right? But the moment that you catch them, after they promised that they wouldn't do this again, after y'all talked about it, y'all got on one level, one accord, y'all are on the same page again, what you thought, they go back and do it again, but you didn't know about that. How long will a person keep up this act? As long as they can get away with it. if they can keep you at one distance and you and them at another, and still meet people halfway in the middle, and nobody knows what's going on, they will do that. Because that person does not truly know, for one, what they want, and for two, who they are. And that's the sad part. Because a lot of people can take people's identity based off what they're unhealed from. Hurt people. And when you've been hurt so much, you tend to be receptive of the way others live. And then you start modeling it, or you start following it. Now that way, your ways become their ways. And now you're wondering why now their ways is your ways, and you weren't like this before. But when you truly know yourself, or you're truly working on yourself, you can say no and it not hurt you. You can say, I can't do that, and nobody can persuade you otherwise. You can say, I know this is wrong, and not do it. You can say, I can't go there, and not go. Not even have a desire to go. But then there's that two-step equation. Oh man, come on, man. Man, whatever. She ain't gonna never find out. Like, she need to live a little. We only get one life to live. Like, what the hell wrong with you? My wife don't even know I'm here. Like, she at home with the kids, probably sleep. Shit, I don't know. It's just whatever. Live a little, man. Nah, man. I don't. Yeah, live a little. Here's a drink. Have a drink. Loosen up. You too tight. Have a drink. Loving the rush. And has another drink. Loving the rush. And then keep on going the next day. Loving the rush. And then the rush becomes a habit. Then the habit becomes an addiction. And that's when it's exposed. Because now you can't turn back. It's hard for you to let it go. It's hard for you to say no. It's hard for you to say stop. It's hard for you to turn away. And that's the same thing with soul ties too. If you have a soul tie with somebody, you're wondering why you can't let them go. You're willing to risk hurting everybody else that you claim that you love for this one thing that is not helping you, it's hurting you. And it's hindering you. But you're wondering why you can't let it go. So you're losing your friends, your family, your loved ones, the people that care about you, that make you happy. They probably messed up, but they did make you happy. Because remember, nobody's perfect. So people are going to lie, they're going to steal, they're going to kill, they're going to manipulate, they're going to gaslight, they're going to do a lot of stuff. The world is filled with just heinous crimes. But it's the ones that can look past those. If you're really wanting to do the work and change, and not just say you're going to change or say you're changing and you really just turn around in circles, but you really don't want them to know that you haven't changed and you're doing the same shit all day, but you want them to feel bad because you want them to think that you have changed and there's something wrong with them. Don't do that. Really work and put your best foot forward. Make the best out of life, because we only have one life to live. And if you mess up, you cheat on your spouse, or you lie, or you manipulate, and you really didn't mean to, or you did it out of spite, or you did it because you had some shit going on or whatever, be man enough if you can lay down and get it, then be woman or man enough to sit down and tell it. You did it. Why is it hard for you to tell the truth? You might set that person free by telling them what you did. Let them make that decision. if they stay with you, God bless their soul. They really do love you. And they really are sacrificial and they really are in love with you. And not for what you bring to the table. They love you for you. Or they can decide to go their separate ways because it's too much for them. Depending on how long you actually did it. With who and for how long and what actually went down. They might decide to permanently part ways. And there are some people that are scared to tell everything and provide that closure because they're scared of losing that person. So really in the back of their mind, they really want that person, but they know that they can't have them like they say they want them, married or not, because they know deep down inside that they're battling something that if they said what it was, they'd probably lose everything. But why wait till your karma catches up with you? Because God will expose you no matter what. But why wait till your karma catches up with you when you could have already possibly stopped that, or at least lightened the load and already told that person what was going on? Why? Because you spreaded the lies so much, or you spreaded the whatever going on so much that now it's to like 10 people, and it was just one turned into 10 into 10 to 100, and 100 to 1,000. Now you don't want to go back and tell these 1,000 people what really happened. You really stepped on your wife. Now she's going around mentally insane, or feeling like she's mentally insane because she thinks that it's her fault that you did this, or he thinks it's his fault that she did this. When all it took was a conversation. And I'm not talking about through text. People that hide behind phones, they already know they're doing something wrong. That's the reason why they can't face nobody. So they'd rather hide behind a phone than take accountability. But the people that really want to work towards that and really know that they did wrong, stare you in the face, sit down and have those hard conversations. This what could have saved Bryce and Judith's marriage. Sitting down and having that conversation. I believe that Bryce would have been open and receptive to Judith's needs and her ideas and her thoughts and her point of views. And I feel like she would have been receptive to his point of view and perspective as well. Hell, she could have even had her mom there to put her input on there. But yeah, I believe that they would have been okay, and Harley would have been erased from the equation had they would have sit down and had that conversation. Probably maybe 1-2 conversations. Probably possibly went to marriage counseling themselves and just had the marriage counselor as a mediator. Not saying that they was going to yell and argue and fight and fuss with each other, but that was a deep conversation, that Judith had or needed to have with Bryce. I just feel like it's so many resources out there to help people within their relationships and even individually, that people turn to the quickest thing that's comfortable for them and end up making matters worse by their decisions that could have just been resolved with sitting down and having a conversation face to face. Not cowardly hiding behind a phone, not cowardly blaming something on somebody when they know that whatever they said did not happen. Just sit down and have a conversation. Hey, babe, I really am getting uncomfortable, or it's really becoming basic and uninteresting that we fluff the pillows and turn the light off before it. Like, all she had to do was say that. And I believe Bryce would have been receptive to that. Well, babe, what do you think we should do? I think we should try this. I think we should talk about this. I don't like the fact that you told my mother this. I don't like the fact that when we went out to dinner, and those guys hit on me right in front of you and you didn't defend me. I felt defenseless. I didn't feel like you had my back. And then be receptive to her feelings and be receptive to his feelings. But one person cannot be receptive of one person's feelings and the other person just denying theirs. Don't want to hear it. Shut up. I'm not talking to you. You starting arguments. It's all about you. That's not a conversation. That's torture. Y'all have a good night.